In the heart of a bustling city, amidst the cacophony of daily life, there lay a quaint little restaurant that was unlike any other. This was a place where the flavors of the food were matched only by the richness of the conversations. A place called Savoring Wisdom. The proprietor, Chef Li, was not only a culinary genius but also a master storyteller, whose dishes were inspired by the ancient philosophy of Confucius. Each meal served was a chapter in a narrative, weaving together taste and wisdom in a manner that left the soul nourished and the mind enlightened. The evening began with the first course, an appetizer named Diversity of Love. This dish, a medley of flavors from different regions, embodied the Confucian recognition of the various forms and expressions of love. As the patrons savored the dish, Chef Li regaled them with tales of how, just like the ingredients on their plates, love comes in many forms, each to be cherished and respected. With the table set for deep reflection, the next course was served, Moral Intuition. This was a simple, yet profound, soup that encouraged diners to listen to their inner moral compass. Much like Confucius emphasized the role of intuition in understanding and practicing morality, the conversation naturally flowed to discussions about the importance of following one's heart and conscience in a world often guided by external pressures. As the evening progressed, Li as life-generating activity was presented. This dish, vibrant and bursting with life, symbolized Li as an articulation of love as good. Chef Li explained how, in Confucian thought, engaging in activities that promote life and goodness was akin to expressing love in its purest form. This prompted diners to reflect on how their actions contribute to the world around them. Moral humility followed, a dish that was deceptively simple yet complex in flavor. This course reminded everyone of the value of modesty and self-awareness. Chef Li shared stories of ancient scholars who, despite their wisdom, approached life with a sense of humility, always open to learning more. This struck a chord with many, highlighting the importance of remaining humble, regardless of one's achievements. The meal continued with conscientiousness, a meticulously prepared dish that demanded attention to detail. This course represented the virtue of being diligent and careful in one's moral life, a key tenet of Confucianism. It sparked discussions on the importance of mindfulness in everyday actions and the impact of such diligence on personal growth and social harmony. As the narrative journey neared its conclusion, practical application of virtue ethics was served. This was a hands-on course, where diners were invited to engage in the preparation of their own meals, embodying the Confucian emphasis on living out virtues in a practical manner. This interactive experience reinforced the idea that philosophy is not just to be pondered but lived. The final course, Intellectual versus Practical Virtues, beautifully encapsulated the evening's theme. It was a dish that required both thought and action to fully appreciate, symbolizing the balance between engaging the intellect and requiring practical action in the pursuit of virtue. As the night drew to a close, the diners reflected on their culinary journey through Confucian philosophy. They had not only feasted on exquisite meals but had also imbibed wisdom that transcended the confines of the restaurant. Chef Li, with his unmatched narrative ability and skillful integration of real-life examples, had crafted an evening that was a testament to the power of storytelling. Through the application of ancient Chinese philosophy to the development of his dishes, he had demonstrated how the virtues of Confucianism could be woven into the fabric of daily life, enriching it with depth and meaning. In Savoring Wisdom, the patrons found more than just a meal. They discovered a space where the mind and palate danced in harmony, where idioms of flavor met idioms of thought, and where every bite was a step on a journey to enlightenment. Chef Li, through his culinary mastery and philosophical insights, had crafted an experience that was a feast for the soul, leaving his guests with a newfound appreciation for the art of living well. In a world that's increasingly fast-paced and digitally driven, where meals are often just another task squeezed into an already overburdened schedule, the art of cooking and dining holds a hidden treasure trove of wisdom waiting to be rediscovered. Amidst this culinary chaos, let's take a moment to simmer down and explore an ancient philosophy that transforms cooking and eating from mere necessity to a profound, enriching experience. Welcome to Philosophical Feasts, a guide to Confucian cooking. Confucianism, a tradition rooted deep in the fertile grounds of ancient Chinese philosophy, offers more than just moral guidelines and ethical teachings. It presents a way of life, harmonizing the individual with society and the natural world. In the kitchen, this harmony translates into an exquisite dance of flavors, a conscientious approach to meal preparation, and a communal dining experience that nourishes not just the body but also the soul. At the heart of Confucian cooking lies the diversity of love. Just as Confucius recognized the varied forms and expressions of love among people, a Confucian kitchen celebrates the multitude of flavors, textures, and aromas. Each ingredient is respected and valued, contributing its unique essence to the collective feast. This diversity mirrors the societal harmony Confucius envisioned, where each individual plays a vital role in the greater whole. Moral intuition and the practical application of virtue ethics are seamlessly woven into the fabric of Confucian culinary practices. Cooking, in this philosophical context, becomes a life-generating activity, a manifestation of love and good. Each chop, stir, and simmer is an act of moral intuition, guided by an innate understanding of the ethical implications of our food choices. The conscientious selection of ingredients, favoring sustainability and ethical sourcing, reflects the Confucian virtue of conscientiousness, encouraging us to be diligent and careful in our moral life. A true Confucian feast is an educational experience, emphasizing the importance of sharing knowledge and wisdom through the communal act of eating. It's an opportunity to discuss virtues, to reflect on our daily lives, and to cultivate moral humility through the acknowledgement of our shared human condition. The dinner table becomes a classroom where intellectual and practical virtues are both taught and learned, blending the pleasure of eating with the pursuit of moral excellence. The preparation of a Confucian meal is a meticulous yet rewarding endeavor. It's about finding balance and harmony not just within the dish but also within oneself. As we peel, chop, and sauté, we're reminded of the importance of generalism and particularism in morality, the need to balance broad ethical principles with the specifics of each situation. This mindful approach to cooking encourages us to consider the wider ethical implications of our food choices, from the environmental impact to the social and economic ramifications. In weaving idioms through the narratives of our dishes, we enrich the dining experience with depth and wisdom. A simple bowl of rice, when shared, becomes a feast for 100. A reminder of the power of community and the joy of sharing. The act of breaking bread, or in this case, sharing rice, symbolizes our interconnectedness and the communal bonds that sustain us. Real-life samples of Confucian cooking principles in action bring these philosophical concepts down to earth. Consider the practice of gong fu tea, a ritual that embodies the Confucian virtues of patience, attentiveness, and respect. Or the meticulous preparation of a traditional multi-course meal, where each dish is carefully crafted to ensure balance and harmony, reflecting the ethical and ontological considerations central to Confucian thought. In conclusion, Confucian cooking offers more than just sustenance. It provides a philosophical framework that enriches our lives, encouraging us to approach cooking and dining as profound acts of love, ethical consideration, and communal bonding. As we gather around the table, let us savor not just the flavors of our meal, but also the wisdom it imparts, nurturing our bodies, minds, and spirits in the process. Philosophical Feasts, a guide to Confucian cooking, invites you to embark on this culinary journey, transforming everyday meals into a celebration of life's interconnectedness and the joy of shared human experience. In the heart of a bustling city, under the glow of neon signs, there exists a small, unassuming restaurant that has become the talk of the town. The Secret, a menu inspired by the ancient teachings of Confucianism, offering not just a meal but a journey through a philosophy that has shaped cultures for centuries. This narrative will take you through the essence of Confucianism, one dish at a time, weaving idioms and real-life examples into a story that tickles the palate and the mind alike. As you step into the restaurant, you're greeted by the aroma of spices and the warmth of a space that feels both familiar and intriguing. The menu, a testament to the chef's unmatched narrative ability, promises an experience of diversity in love, moral intuition, and the life-generating activity of Li. Each dish is a chapter, each bite a lesson. The first course, aptly named The Diversity of Love, is a platter of delicacies, each representing a form and expression of love recognized in the Confucian tradition. From the tender care of a perfectly steamed dumpling to the passionate spice of a Szechuan chili chicken, this dish teaches that love is multifaceted and universal. It's a culinary reminder that, just as in life, the diversity of love enriches our existence. Moving on, the moral intuition soup arrives. It's a simple broth, yet it carries the depth of centuries-old wisdom. Confucianism values the role of intuition in understanding and practicing morality. As you savor the soup, you're encouraged to listen to your inner voice, to let your moral compass guide you through the complexities of life. This course serves as a reminder that sometimes the simplest choices require the deepest introspection. The main course, Li as life-generating activity, is where the chef's skillful deployment of idioms shines. Li represents the idea that ethical living is akin to a vital ontological articulation of love as good. The dish before you, a meticulously arranged array of vegetables and proteins, embodies harmony and balance. It whispers the old adage, "You reap what you sow," teaching that the cultivation of virtue is akin to the nurturing of the earth. Both require patience, care, and respect. As the meal progresses, the importance of moral humility and conscientiousness is served in the form of a shared dish. It's a gentle nudge towards modesty and self-awareness in ethical considerations, reminding diners that to embark on a journey of moral development, one must first acknowledge their own limitations and the importance of being diligent and careful in one's moral life. Dessert, named Practical Application of Virtue Ethics, is a sweet conclusion that emphasizes the day-to-day living out of virtues in a practical manner. Accompanied by a cup of tea, it's a moment of reflection on how the teachings of Confucianism are not just lofty ideals but practical guides that can shape every aspect of our lives, from how we interact with others to how we view ourselves. In this unique dining experience, each course is a lesson, each flavor a reflection on the ancient Chinese philosophy of Confucianism. Integrating real-life samples, the narrative of this meal transcends the boundaries of a typical dining experience, offering insights into moral intuition, the diversity of love, and the practical application of virtue ethics. It's a testament to the chef's extraordinary flair for conceiving and shaping captivating narratives that respect user preferences while perpetually redefining the boundaries of creativity. As you step out of the restaurant, back into the neon-lit streets, you carry with you not just the satisfaction of a meal well enjoyed but the teachings of Confucianism, served in a way that's both digestible and profound. This meal, a perfect blend of taste and teachings, proves that even the most ancient philosophies can find relevance in the modern world, one dish at a time. In the bustling heart of a city known for its culinary diversity, there lived a chef named Li Wei. Li Wei was not your average chef. His kitchen was a sanctuary, and his dishes were more than just meals. They were narratives of love, harmony, and ethical living. This tale, dear readers, is a journey through the senses, guided by the ancient wisdom of Confucian philosophy, into the art of crafting harmony on a plate. Li Wei's unmatched narrative ability in the culinary world began with his approach to cooking. He believed that every ingredient had a story, and every dish was an opportunity to communicate a deeper understanding of life. His philosophy was deeply rooted in the diversity of love, recognizing different forms and expressions of it in the culinary world. For Li Wei, cooking was not just about combining flavors. It was about creating a symphony of experiences that resonated with the soul. Drawing upon the expert application of Confucian's ancient Chinese philosophy in story development, Li Wei saw his kitchen as a place of moral intuition. He understood that the essence of good cooking lay in the balance and harmony of ingredients, much like the ethical balance Confucianism teaches us to seek in life. The concept of Li as a life-generating activity was evident in how Li Wei treated each element of his dishes with respect and care, acknowledging the innate goodness and potential in all things. Li Wei's moral humility was reflected in his willingness to learn from every experience, whether it was a critique from a diner or an unexpected flavor discovered by accident. He practiced conscientiousness in every aspect of his work, ensuring that his dishes not only tasted good but also nourished the body and soul. This approach turned his restaurant into a place where practical application of virtue ethics was served on every plate, offering lessons in ethical living alongside delectable flavors. The chef's menus were a testament to his skillful deployment of idioms, with dish names like harmony in a bite or ethical eats. These names were not just catchy phrases. They were invitations to explore the depth and richness of Confucian philosophy through food. Li Wei's integration of real-life samples, such as locally sourced ingredients and traditional cooking techniques, enhanced the credibility of his culinary narrative and strengthened the connection with his audience. Li Wei's kitchen was a place where educational aspects of Confucian thought were as essential as the ingredients themselves. He believed that dining was not just an act of eating but an opportunity for moral development and social harmony. Through his dishes, he engaged both the intellectual and practical virtues of his guests, encouraging them to reflect on the nature of their being and the cultivation of virtue in their daily lives. The tension between generalism and particularism in morality was creatively addressed in Li Wei's seasonal menus, which balanced the universal appeal of certain flavors with the unique character of local ingredients. This approach mirrored Confucian exploration of ethical decisions, offering a culinary analogy for the complex interplay between universal principles and individual circumstances. In merging ethics and ontology, Li Wei's restaurant became more than just a place to eat. It was a space where guests could experience the cultivation of virtue through the act of dining. His stories, told through the medium of food, were a testament to his belief that the most profound narratives are those that engage the senses, challenge the mind, and nourish the soul. In the end, harmony on a plate, the Confucian way to culinary enlightenment, is not just the story of a chef and his kitchen. It is a narrative about the power of food to teach, inspire, and foster a deeper understanding of life's most essential truths. Li Wei, with his extraordinary narrative ability and profound respect for ancient wisdom, invites us all to find harmony on our plates and, by extension, in our lives. In the heart of a bustling metropolis, where the aromas of world cuisines blend as seamlessly as the diverse crowds that walk its streets, there existed a small, unassuming eatery that was about to redefine the culinary world. This wasn't just any restaurant. It was a place where the ancient philosophy of Confucianism met the modern passion for gastronomy. Here, the virtues of Confucian thought weren't just preached. They were practiced, plated, and served with a side of wisdom. This is the tale of how culinary virtues, inspired by a Confucian approach, transformed not just a kitchen, but the lives of those who dined there. Our story begins with the master chef, Liang, whose unmatched narrative ability in the kitchen was akin to a raconteur weaving tales of flavor, texture, and aroma. Liang believed in the diversity of love, seeing each dish as an expression of affection for those who would partake in his creations. This wasn't cooking. It was a culinary sonnet, where every ingredient played a part in articulating love as good, an embodiment of the Confucian Li in every bite. Liang's kitchen was a place where moral intuition guided the hand more than any recipe book. He taught his apprentices that understanding the balance of flavors required not just skill, but a form of ethical intuition, knowing what was right for the dish and, by extension, right for the soul. This intuition was a compass that led to culinary innovations that respected tradition while embracing the future. In this eatery, moral humility was not just a virtue but a requirement. One could not approach the stove with arrogance. Liang often said, "To cook is to serve, and to serve is to love." His humility in accepting feedback and learning from every burnt crust or overseasoned broth was a lesson in conscientiousness, another virtue that was meticulously practiced. Every dish served was a testament to diligence, care, and a deep respect for the culinary arts. But what truly set this eatery apart was its commitment to the practical application of virtue ethics, weaving Confucian principles into the very fabric of its existence. Education was central to this philosophy. Liang didn't just run a kitchen. He ran a school of life where lessons in cooking were lessons in living. Apprentices were taught the intellectual virtues of curiosity, creativity, and critical thinking, alongside the practical virtues of hard work, patience, and precision. Real-life samples of this philosophy in action were evident in the stories that emanated from the kitchen. There was the tale of the dish of harmony, a recipe born from a heated debate that ended with a realization of the importance of balance and unity in both flavor and life. Or the story of the humble bean, which taught that even the simplest ingredient could create a masterpiece, a lesson in modesty and potential. Liang skillfully deployed idioms, both culinary and philosophical, to enrich the narrative of his kitchen. Adding fuel to the fire wasn't just about increasing the heat. It was about passionately pursuing one's goals. Too many cooks spoil the broth, served as a reminder of the importance of harmony and cooperation. The eatery's approach to cooking and living attracted not just food enthusiasts but seekers of wisdom, drawn by the allure of a dining experience that promised nourishment for both the body and the soul. The stories of transformation and enlightenment that emerged from this small kitchen were as varied and flavorful as the dishes it served. In a world hungry for meaning and connection, Liang's eatery offered a feast that went beyond the sensory delights of taste and smell. It was a place where culinary virtues and Confucian philosophy blended seamlessly, serving as a reminder that the art of cooking, like the art of living, is enriched by love, guided by intuition, and grounded in virtue. As patrons left the warmth of the eatery, they carried with them not just the satisfaction of a meal well enjoyed but the seeds of wisdom well planted. In the bustling metropolis, amidst the chaos of daily life, Liang's culinary virtues continued to simmer gently, a beacon of light in the quest for a life well lived. In the heart of every kitchen lies not just the promise of nourishing meals but the potential for wisdom and harmony that transcends the culinary boundaries. It's a place where the ancient teachings of Confucius can simmer alongside our modern-day recipes, blending the spices of age-old philosophy with the fresh ingredients of our times. This tale, titled From Kitchen to Cosmos, Cooking with Confucian Principles, is a journey through the flavors of virtue, ethics, and personal development, all served on the platter of everyday cooking. Imagine the kitchen as a microcosm of society, each action within it a reflection of the larger dynamics at play in the world outside. As we select ingredients, so too do we choose our values. As we mix and stir, we blend our principles with our actions. The act of cooking, then, becomes a metaphor for living a life aligned with Confucian philosophy, where diversity of love, moral intuition, and the life-generating activity of propriety are as essential to the process as salt is to soup. In the spirit of diversity of love, cooking with Confucian principles means recognizing and appreciating the varying forms and expressions of love in our lives. Just as a dish can be enhanced by a variety of spices, our lives are enriched by the different kinds of love we give and receive. Whether it's the love for a partner, a friend, or even the passion for one's craft, each form of love adds a unique flavor to our existence. Moral intuition, another cornerstone of Confucian thought, plays a crucial role in our culinary adventure. It's the inner voice that guides us to choose fresh, wholesome ingredients over processed alternatives, echoing the importance of making morally sound decisions in every aspect of life. This intuition is akin to the sharpness of a chef's knife, essential for slicing through the complexities of ethical dilemmas to reveal the simplicity of right action. The concept of transforms cooking from a mere chore into a life-generating activity. Each step in the preparation of a meal, from washing the rice to plating the dish, is an opportunity to practice ritual and propriety, infusing the act with intention and respect. This echoes the Confucian ideal of transforming everyday actions into avenues for cultivating virtue and harmony. Humility in the kitchen teaches us to acknowledge our culinary failures as opportunities for growth, much like Confucian moral humility encourages us to recognize and learn from our ethical shortcomings. Conscientiousness, another key virtue, is demonstrated through careful attention to dietary restrictions and preferences, mirroring the broader application of diligence and care in our moral lives. Integrating real-life examples, consider the story of Chef Lin, who embodies Confucian principles in his small but bustling urban eatery. Chef Lin's menu is a testament to the diversity of love, offering dishes that cater to an array of dietary needs and preferences, from vegan to gluten-free options. His moral intuition guides his selection of locally sourced, sustainable ingredients, reflecting a commitment to ethical consumption. The meticulous care with which each dish is prepared and presented showcases Li in action, turning every meal into a ritual that honors both the food and the diner. Chef Lin's humility is evident in his openness to feedback, constantly seeking to improve and refine his craft. His conscientious approach extends beyond the kitchen, participating in community initiatives aimed at reducing food waste and supporting local farmers. Through Chef Lin's story, we see how the principles of Confucianism can be woven into the fabric of our daily lives, enriching not just our meals, but our character and community. In conclusion, from kitchen to cosmos, cooking with Confucian principles is not just a narrative about food. It's a reminder that every chop, stir, and simmer can be a step toward personal growth and ethical living. By embracing the wisdom of Confucian philosophy in our cooking, we nourish not just our bodies but our souls, making each meal a small but significant contribution to a more virtuous and harmonious world. So, the next time you find yourself in the kitchen, remember, you're not just cooking food, you're cultivating virtue, one dish at a time. In the heart of a bustling city, where the streets buzz with the harmony of daily life and the air carries an enticing medley of aromas, there lies a quaint restaurant that is more than meets the eye. This is not just any eatery. It's a place where the ancient wisdom of Confucian philosophy meets the modern art of culinary creation. The mastermind behind this unique fusion is Chef Lu, a culinary virtuoso whose dishes are as much a feast for the soul as they are for the palate. Chef Lu's journey began in the humble kitchen of his grandmother, where he first learned that cooking was not merely about combining ingredients but about weaving together the threads of tradition, love, and moral intuition. Each dish served at his restaurant is a testament to his unmatched narrative ability, transforming a simple meal into a captivating story that respects the diner's preferences while pushing the boundaries of creativity. In crafting his menu, Chef Lu expertly applies the ancient Chinese philosophy of Confucianism, where the diversity of love and the practice of moral intuition are as crucial to his creations as the spices he so carefully selects. The concept of Li, seen as a life-generating activity, is evident in how each dish is prepared and presented, embodying love as a fundamental good that nourishes both body and spirit. Moral humility and conscientiousness are virtues Chef Lu holds dear, reflected in his meticulous attention to detail and the modest presentation of his culinary masterpieces. He believes in the practical application of virtue ethics, living out the values of Confucianism in every slice, dice, and stir. For him, the kitchen is not just a place of work but a classroom where the educational aspects of Confucian thought, essential for moral development and social harmony, are in constant play. The menu at Chef Lu's restaurant is a perfect blend of intellectual and practical virtues, where dishes are designed to engage the mind and delight the senses. He skillfully deploys idioms in the names of his creations, adding depth to the dining experience and inviting guests to explore the rich tapestry of meanings behind each meal. Real-life samples of Confucian principles in action are shared through the stories of the dishes, enhancing credibility and forging a deep connection with his audience. One such dish, the Harmony of Opposites, is a culinary embodiment of the Confucian exploration of generalism and particularism in morality. It features a delicate balance of flavors and textures, showcasing Chef Lu's belief in the importance of finding the middle ground in ethical decisions. Just as in cooking, Chef Lu's narratives are carefully balanced to ensure uniqueness and listener engagement, respecting copyright rules and adhering to ethical and legal guidelines. His stories, spanning from 6,000 to 10,000 characters, are not just written in English but are crafted to be easily translatable into speech, allowing the essence of his culinary philosophy to resonate beyond the written word. The art of balance, Confucian concepts in culinary creations, is not just a story about food. It's a journey into the heart of a philosophy that has shaped civilizations, a reminder that the principles governing a good life are as relevant in the kitchen as they are in the broader world. Chef Lu's restaurant is a place where guests come to dine but leave nourished in body and soul, having experienced the profound wisdom of Confucianism through the universal language of food. In the warmth of a bustling kitchen, where the aroma of spices meets the laughter of family, lies a tale not just of food, but of philosophy and life itself. This is a story about discovering Confucian values through the simple act of mindful eating, a journey that intertwines the flavors on our plates with the essence of living harmoniously. Once upon a recent evening, I found myself seated at a modest yet inviting dining table. The spread before me was not extravagant but carefully prepared, embodying the Confucian virtue of Li, a concept that represents not just ritual and propriety, but the celebration of life-generating activities. Each dish, from the gently steamed vegetables to the perfectly balanced broth, was a testament to the meticulous care and conscientiousness of the cook. It was here, in the shared meal, that the first lesson of Confucianism unfolded: the importance of diligence and careful attention in every aspect of life, even in something as mundane as preparing food. As the meal progressed, the conversation veered towards the diversity of love, a principle deeply rooted in Confucian philosophy. The variety on our plates served as a metaphor for the different forms and expressions of love. Just as the meal comprised various ingredients that contributed to the harmony of flavors, Confucianism teaches us to recognize and appreciate the myriad ways in which love manifests in our lives, be it familial affection, friendship, or respect for others. In the sharing of food, I was reminded of Confucius's teachings on moral intuition and humility. The act of offering the best portions to others before serving oneself was a practice not just of etiquette but of moral intuition, an understanding of right and wrong that goes beyond words. This gesture, subtle yet profound, highlighted the virtue of moral humility, encouraging self-awareness and the placing of others' needs above one's own. The meal also served as a platform for education, another pillar of Confucian thought. Discussions flowed freely, ranging from the significance of each dish to broader topics on life and morality. It was an embodiment of how education and learning are not confined to classrooms, but are part of the everyday experiences that shape our understanding of the world. However, it was not just the intellectual virtues that were nurtured during the meal, but the practical virtues as well. The preparation and sharing of food required action, a physical manifestation of the virtues of care, respect, and love. It was a beautiful example of how Confucianism values the practical application of virtue ethics, emphasizing the importance of living out virtues in a tangible, daily manner. The balance between generalism and particularism in morality was also evident in the way the meal was approached. While there was a general respect for the tradition and rituals associated with dining, there was also room for particular personal preferences and needs, reflecting the Confucian exploration of the tension between universal principles and individual circumstances. Furthermore, the meal was a reminder of how ethics and ontology are intertwined in Confucian philosophy. The act of eating mindfully, with gratitude and consideration for the origins of the food, was an ontological reflection on the nature of being and our interconnectedness with the world around us. It was a demonstration of how the cultivation of virtue extends beyond personal moral development to encompass a harmonious relationship with the environment and society at large. As the evening drew to a close, the profound impact of the meal lingered. It was a testament to the unmatched narrative ability of everyday experiences to convey deep philosophical truths. Through the simple act of mindful eating, the Confucian values of diversity of love, moral intuition, Li, moral humility, conscientiousness, practical virtue ethics, education, intellectual and practical virtues, generalism and particularism in morality, and the fusion of ethics and ontology were brought to life in a manner that was both engaging and enlightening. In the end, it was clear that the lessons gleaned from the dining table were not just about food, but about how to live a thoughtful, harmonious life. It was a story spun not from fiction but from the very essence of existence, flavored with idioms of life and peppered with real-life samples that connected deeply with the heart. This tale of mindful eating, while confined within the bounds of a single evening, reached beyond the temporal, offering a timeless narrative on the beauty and complexity of life through the lens of Confucian philosophy. In the heart of a bustling city, there was a small but extraordinary restaurant known as the Confucian Kitchen. It wasn't just the mouth-watering dishes that drew people in, but the unique philosophy that seasoned every bite. The mastermind behind this culinary marvel was Chef Li, a pioneer in the world of gastronomy, who believed that cooking was not just about feeding the body but also nurturing the soul. Chef Li's unmatched narrative ability in the kitchen was akin to that of a master storyteller. Each dish he created was a tale of its own, weaving together flavors and techniques that respected the diner's preferences while pushing the boundaries of creativity. His menu, inspired by Confucian's ancient Chinese philosophy, turned the act of dining into a transformative experience. The diversity of love was evident in his menu, offering dishes that catered to a myriad of tastes and preferences, reflecting the different forms and expressions of love in Confucian tradition. From the spicy Sichuan dishes that ignited passion, to the comforting Cantonese soups that soothed the soul, Chef Li believed in the power of food to convey deep emotions. Moral intuition guided his choice of ingredients, favoring locally sourced produce and ethically raised meats, honoring the Confucian value of intuition in practicing morality. In each dish, the balance of flavors and textures mirrored the balance sought in moral life. Li as life-generating activity was represented in the vibrant, life-affirming dishes that graced the tables of Confucian kitchen. Chef Li saw cooking as a vital ontological articulation of love as good, where the act of creating and consuming food was a celebration of life itself. Moral humility could be seen in Chef Li's approach to his culinary art. Despite his renown, he maintained a modest demeanor, always open to learning and improving. This humility was also reflected in the simplicity of some dishes, which emphasized the natural beauty and flavor of the ingredients without unnecessary embellishment. Conscientiousness was a key virtue in Chef Li's kitchen. He was diligent and careful in his craft, ensuring that each dish was prepared to perfection. This conscientious approach extended to the dining experience, where guests were treated with utmost care and respect. The practical application of virtue ethics was evident in how Chef Li ran his restaurant. Every decision, from the choice of suppliers to the training of his staff, was made with a focus on day-to-day living out of virtues in a practical manner. The Confucian kitchen was not just a place to eat, but a space where ethical living was practiced and promoted. Educational aspects were woven into the dining experience. Chef Li believed in the importance of education for moral development and social harmony. Diners were often treated to stories about the origins of dishes, the philosophy behind the ingredients, and the ethical considerations involved in their preparation. The menu at Confucian Kitchen showcased the balance between intellectual and practical virtues. Some dishes were designed to engage the intellect, challenging diners to think about the ethics of food and consumption, while others focused on the joy and satisfaction of eating, requiring practical action in the form of cooking and serving. Generalism and particularism in morality were explored through the diverse offerings on the menu. Chef Li understood that while some ethical principles were universal, the application of these principles could vary greatly depending on the context. This was reflected in the adaptability of the menu to accommodate dietary restrictions and personal preferences without compromising on ethical standards. Ethics and ontology merged seamlessly in the Confucian kitchen, where ethical discourse was not just an abstract concept but a lived experience. The restaurant was a microcosm of Confucian philosophy, where the cultivation of virtue and the reflection on the nature of being were as integral to the experience as the flavors on the plate. Through his skillful deployment of idioms and integration of real-life samples, Chef Li managed to craft a narrative that was not only engaging but deeply impactful. The Confucian kitchen became more than just a restaurant. It was a haven where patrons could savor the rich tapestry of life, one bite at a time. In a world where the pace of life seems ever accelerating, the Confucian kitchen offered a pause, a place to breathe and reflect. Chef Li's culinary tales were a reminder that at the heart of all endeavors, whether in the kitchen or beyond, were the timeless virtues of love, morality, and humility. And in this fusion of philosophy and flavor, diners discovered not just the joy of eating, but the joy of living. In the heart of a bustling metropolis, tucked away from the cacophony of daily life, lies a quaint restaurant that doesn't just serve food. It offers a feast for the soul. This isn't your typical culinary venture. It's a place where gastronomy and ancient wisdom intertwine, creating an experience that nourishes both body and mind. Welcome to the realm of Confucian cuisine, a culinary philosophy where every dish is a story, every ingredient a character, and every meal a lesson in life. The ethos of Confucian cuisine is deeply rooted in the ancient Chinese philosophy of Confucianism, which emphasizes moral integrity, the importance of relationships, and respect for the natural order. At the core of this culinary tradition lies the concept of li, which can be translated as a life-generating activity. It's about harmonizing the elements, balancing the flavors, and creating dishes that are not only delicious but also virtuous. As you step into this serene oasis, you're greeted with the aroma of spices that have been carefully selected for their moral symbolism as much as their flavors. The menu is a testament to the diversity of love, showcasing dishes that celebrate the various forms and expressions of love recognized in Confucian tradition. From the filial piety embodied in a meticulously prepared soup that takes hours to simmer, to the brotherly affection represented in a shared platter of delicately spiced vegetables. Each dish tells a story of relationships and ethical living. But it's not just about the ingredients or the recipes, it's about the process. Confucian cuisine places great emphasis on moral intuition and the conscientious preparation of food. The chefs, like skilled artisans, practice moral humility, approaching their craft with modesty and self-awareness. They understand that cooking is not just a physical act but a moral one, where every chop, stir, and simmer is an opportunity to practice virtue ethics in a tangible, nourishing form. In this culinary haven, the dining experience is an educational journey. Diners are invited to engage with the philosophical underpinnings of their meals, exploring the balance between intellectual and practical virtues. The restaurant serves not just food but wisdom, offering insights into how one can cultivate virtue through the everyday act of eating. It's an embodiment of the Confucian belief that education is essential for moral development and social harmony. The stories that unfold in this space are rich with idioms and real-life examples, making the philosophy of Confucianism accessible and relevant. For instance, a dish inspired by the concept of li as life-generating activity might be accompanied by a tale of a local farmer who practices sustainable agriculture, embodying the Confucian virtue of respecting the natural order. Through these narratives, diners are encouraged to reflect on their own lives, contemplating the ethical dimensions of their food choices and the impact of their actions on the world around them. As the meal draws to a close, guests leave not only satiated but also inspired. They carry with them not just the memory of a delicious meal, but a deeper understanding of how gastronomy can be a path to wisdom. In the bustling chaos of the modern world, this restaurant stands as a beacon of hope, demonstrating that it's possible to nourish both the body and the mind, one dish at a time. This story of Confucian cuisine is a testament to the power of narrative, blending ancient philosophy with the universal joy of eating to create a transformative experience. It's a reminder that food is not just sustenance. It's a medium through which we can explore the depths of human morality, ethics, and love. In a world hungry for meaning, perhaps it's time we all took a seat at the table where gastronomy and wisdom meet.